Welcome to today's episode of Threading Thoughts. We will be talking about the challenges the aviation industry has faced and its digital transformation. The civil aviation industry was emerging as one of the fastest growing industries globally during the last couple of years, with India showing impressive growth. However, an unprecedented crisis in the form of a pandemic and global lockdowns shook the industry and questioned its survival. The COVID 19 crisis has shown the increased effectiveness and the importance of digital options over more traditional paper based solutions. However, has the industry managed to rise from the ashes? Vivek Kalia is a distinguished soldier who's recently transformed into a corporate leader. In his distinguished career in the Indian Navy spanning over 2 decades, Vivek has traversed through all the three mediums sky, land, and water. He is an alumnus of National Defence Academy and Defence Services Staff College. He is a graduate from Jawaharlal Nehru University and did his masters from the Madras University. Vivek is a graduate of Global Management Program from INSEAD Business School. He also holds a diploma in Global Supply Chain Management from IIFT New Delhi. Vivek has been a second in command of a missile corvette, second in command of a guided missile destroyer, and also had the privilege of commanding an amphibious warship. In staff assignments at Naval Headquarters, Vivek has been head of HR for Naval Aviation. He has been an advisor to Naval Aviation Head and has also served as the Director, Aircraft Procurement. Post 21 years of active service, Vivek re-attired and joined the corporate world as Head of Business Operation, India and South Asia at the Airbus Group. In his present assignment, Vivek heads the training business operations, flying and maintenance training for Airbus customers in India and South Asia. In addition, he is accountable for negotiation management of all Airbus aviation training contracts, business performance, financial forecasting, and KPI monitoring. As business head, Vivek is responsible for the efficient running of Airbus India Training Center and for ensuring seamless customer experience. Hi, Vivek. We're really glad you were able to join us today, and it's a real pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for taking your time off for us.
Thank you very much, Madhula. I think it's my pleasure. I'm humbled by your invite, and it's an opportunity for me to share my thoughts and exchange views on the matter of expertise which I've got. And so, thank you very much for hosting me.
Oh, absolutely, our pleasure. So, just off the bat, where do you see the future of unmanned aerial vehicles and their impact on the industry?
I think this unmanned aerial vehicles are definitely a platform which has got a widespread utilization in various fields. It's an aerial platform, but yes, it has got a utilization in various fields, whether it is to for the deliveries or in the military affairs, or it is in the urban mobility section which is there, or also in the fields of e-commerce where we see. So the variety, as much as I think the human mind is going to stretch itself, its imagination with regards to where we can utilize this particular platform. I think more avenues we'll find. These are some of them which I've listed down, which are there. But sooner, I'm sure more such things will come up like that. So I think the future definitely is we are exploring a different media altogether to utilize a much faster way of deliveries. It has been shown right from pizzas to even small delivery of items, which is there.
True.
The military utilization of the drones is already there, and it is going to be taken to a different level where the exposure of the manned combat aircraft is going to reduce. Whether it is for actual warfighting or it is for surveillance purposes, drones in the military technology are already there, and are being quite well utilized by the navies and the air forces across the world. Uh, and moving on also to the urban utility section, I think while the space on ground is reducing, I think the space on the in the air is being utilized by the various companies, whether it is Uber or Lilium or any other companies, even Airbus and other. So I think there is enough scope there again. Yes, it is still in the nascent stages, but I'm sure it will get its traction as soon as we further go and explore it. So I think the unmanned airspace has got a lot to explore, but there are enough. There's some challenges with regards to the regulations, especially, and not
True,
only in India. I think because it's a common space which has to be shared between not only the manned aircraft and also between the unmanned aircraft,
true,
or I would say remotely piloted. I would not say unmanned aircraft; they're remotely piloted. So I think the regulations have to be very clearly defined because there are areas where if it is not regulated, the skies are not regulated properly, it can lead to a catastrophic kind of incidents which are there. So I
true.
think the regulations need to be set in place for all the stakeholders who are going to operate, whether it is as a toy or it's as a means of delivery or anything else. I think manned and unmanned have to coexist in the future, and for coexisting and to ensure that it is safe, I think we need to put the right kind of regulations in place. Governments are doing its part all around the world. I think that is where we need to put in more efforts to regulate the traffic in the air properly. As far as its
Absolutely.
impact on the I would say its impact on the manned aircraft segment is concerned, I don't see so much of its impact there because it's a different it's a different feel and touch of it. Yes, it will impact somewhat, but I think it's a different segment which is there, which has got its clear cut deliverables, whereas the manned section has got its own deliverables, whether it is to the commercial aircraft segment or the combat aircraft segment which is there. It's got a different feel and touch of it. So I think both have equal role to play, and I think both will continue to coexist. Maybe a little bit share may move up and down between the two
True.
segments, but I think they have enough things to be delivered in the future, and I think both will coexist. The technologies will further enhance in the future, and both will play I think a major role in the aviation industry as we move along in the future.
That's fascinating because, as you correctly mentioned, unmanned aerial vehicles are just a tool. So the tool that can, find a variety of uses in different sectors, industries, and that's great. And all of them are a piece of the same pie. So I think the regulations would help some clarity, given that you need to register these vehicles. And I think that going forward, I think there will be a little more clarity on the space per se, because then you're just going to get multiple unmanned vehicles, aerial vehicles, and that's also a safety issue, right? It's a huge safety issue. So I think that's also something that will the government is thinking about, but I think going forward they will start working on it a little faster, at least regulating these. So that's very interesting to see that they seem to go hand in hand, and given that it's being used in defense, I think that's a great utility, not only for training, but I also understand it's also on the field as well, right? For both sectors.
Yeah, that's correct. So it's been used both on the field also, which is there, and though the commercial utilization may be happening at a lower scale, means with the smaller drones and all, but in the military it is definitely happening with the much larger drones which can carry a much larger payloads and all. So actually I'd say the requirements in the military space are a little different than what is there in the civil space. So the payload carrying capacity and all which is required to deliver certain kind of payloads, whether it's for surveillance or some purposes of actual combat roles. So it's a different role which is there. So it's
Right.
been used for many years now. But for the civil world, is again it's got if you want to use an air taxi. So again, you'll need to have those payload requirements. How much
Absolutely.
takeoff weight it will have. So I think both have their significant requirements which are there, and I think respective companies are working towards making it happen both in the benign space and also in the defense space, which is there.
Very interesting. And we're talking about technology. Can you provide some instances of how technology has actually transformed the functioning and efficiency of the aircraft industry per se?
See, as far as the aircraft industry or the aviation industry which is concerned, I think there are enough things which have happened. If I talk purely from the training point of view, where we required to train on an aircraft, like an aircraft is manufactured, but yes, aircraft is a very not only sophisticated, but it's required to be in the air, not on the ground.
Right.
And so utilization of it is required. It's a costly equipment which is there. So it's right starting from the training point of view itself. So whether it is because we do not want to utilize too much aircraft on ground, it means for the training purposes. So that way we having simulators, various kind of simulation devices which can provide you as close an in-flight experience which is there from simulating any kind of scenarios which you can create, whether it is a weather scenario or a failure scenario or an emergency scenario you can create. So the technology in the simulator space is being utilized for the purposes of training the air crew to ensure that they, by the time they step into the aircraft, they are stepping into the realistic environment straight away after having
Right.
so much of training done on those simulators and not utilizing the aircraft hours per se. So their way, that way you utilize the precious aircraft hours much lesser. The fuel spent is lesser. Also, there are simulation kind of softwares which have been developed in the aviation industry, in the aircraft industry, where even the ground crew, the technicians which are there, they do not need to go to the aircraft per se again for the purpose of learning how the particular equipment, particular component is there. So I think the simulation which is there, through whether through the virtual reality mode or through the actual simulation softwares, you can easily pick and open one panel, go do a kind of a different defect identification, you can do defect rectification, and you can train yourself so that when you go to the aircraft, you are straight away able to, those engineers and technicians are straight away able to relate what they learned in the training, and they're able to relate it when they actually find that faults. So such things are there. There are virtual reality softwares now augmenting the simulators also, where you will further reduce the simulators hours also, that just by utilizing the virtual reality and augmented reality, where you will be able to utilize the particular software and also get a feel and touch of it as realistically as possible, so that those engineers can probably start an aircraft, get the feel of the aircraft, get the turbulence on their hands which is there. So I think the variety is large with regards to simulation. So this is for the training domain which is there. Then comes also to the maintenance, other domains where you need to identify a history of an aircraft, what kind of stresses an aircraft is going through, by putting those sensors in the aircraft, getting the real-time data onto the softwares on the ground, understanding how the efficiency is there on that particular aircraft system, whether it's an engine or it is an electronic equipment in the aircraft, identifying what kind of stresses is going through, whether it's got a wear and tear, whether it is requires to be, that component is required to be changed, it is coming up for some inspection. So all these things through an IoT devices, you can have everything linked, and you can provide a much better experience to the airline industry, where the components get ordered much faster based on the real-time data which is available to the engineers on ground which is there. Then you
Absolutely.
also have in-flight experience which is there for the aviation industry. So I think the aircraft manufacturers are working very hard, collaborating and ensuring that the best in-flight experience is provided. Now, there are business people. We never heard of having an in-flight Wi-Fi available, so the business meetings continue to be utilized through the. So aircraft are being equipped with the latest of the technology, so that the continuity of the business is maintained, whether it's through in-flight Wi-Fi, having a better aircraft experience with regards to the lightings inside, whether to the seating inside, efficiency of the aircraft's flight. So I think in-flight experience is again something which has been taken care pretty well. On the airports, I think they're working towards having a beacon technology where each passenger can be tracked with regards to making the right announcements to ensure that people reach the respective gates on
Gates
time.
on
If
time.
somebody gates on time, then also the facial recognition kind of a thing which is available, whether the fingerprinting. So I think when you go to an international departure or international arrival, there the things are moving much faster, and the
Right.
clearance is happening much faster. So I think technologies is in every domain. I've just named few of them. I think there's more than enough which is being utilized in the tech domain by the aircraft manufacturers, the whole ecosystem, that is the airlines, the airports, everybody, to ensure that we are more efficient and everybody gets a much better experience.
Absolutely. And I don't think there's any point where technology has not touched it at all. I think it's affecting every single point through a person's, travel. And but these times have been very difficult, especially the last year or so. And how is the sector managed in these very difficult times? What is the pivot they have used, or what is the learning that you think as they are going to take it forward?
I think it was definitely the most hit industry was definitely the aviation industry and the hospitality industry in this time. Uh, Recovery has been slow, but yes, it has been steady. Recovery is there. The confidence of the people is definitely there. I think this time has been used by I would say the manufacturers, the OEMs have been utilized uh, to keep the herd together, to keep the supply chain together, to see how we can make our supply chains further nimble, further more efficient, so that we are able to utilize resources and able to deliver the aircraft on time. So I think more effort have been put in at during this particular time in the field of innovation, when obviously the production is less, and to think on how to make the aircraft for the future a little more efficient. We have as aircraft OEMs, I think we have supported our customers by arranging whether it is to arranging their deliveries, adjusting their delivery timelines and all. Because if there are too many aircraft flying in the air, so we have to ensure that okay, their cash reserves are not depleted so much that by the time the pandemic gets over, the airline
Yeah,
does not exist only. So I think to
absolutely.
keeping that customer touch points, customer pain points into the insights was very important. Keeping those small suppliers alive was something which was very important. Uh, Conserve as much as cash which is possible uh, through the government interventions which is there, whether it was to return the, I think airline industry, whether they had to return the cancelled tickets and all those things. I think there are a lot of things which they did so that they can preserve and conserve as much as cash as they could. Deferment of deliveries, I've already told you. So
Right.
there, I think the collaboration between the OEMs and the airlines was quite high at that moment of time. It improved the customer experience for those airline partners. Keeping the herd close to with regard to the supply chain was very important in this case. And I think everybody went back to the drawing boards to ensure that the innovation continues, and so that we are more future ready as compared to what we are at present.
Future ready you are. And that brings me to my next question. So, what are some of the cool new innovations that we can expect from the industry? On another note, would these tie into sustainable alternatives for the aviation industry? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think sustainability is high on agenda of aviation. It is definitely on very high on agenda on sustainability. So I think with the backbone of sustainability, I think the efforts have been put in. Whether it is a few initiatives which the aircraft OEMs like Airbus have made it, whether it's a zero E concept which is coming out with utilizing the hydrogen as a fuel for the future, uh, which will not only make it much more efficient for the aircraft to fly, but also help in reducing the carbon footprint. It help in reducing the carbon emissions which are there. The target which has been set in that by 2035, the aircraft, these aircraft which are fueled by hydrogen will be ready. So setting the ecosystem in place, because it is not only the making the aircraft but ensuring that that fuel is available
Right.
to these things, to making those first tying up with the industry uh, for making this fuel. uh, Thereafter, how the storage is going to take place, which is there because it requires a bulk storage, because you're talking about a different alternate fuel altogether.
True.
From a conventional fuel, we're talking about a fuel which is based on hydrogen, basically hydrogen as a fuel for the engines. So making those aircraft infrastructure ready, the aerodrome infrastructure ready to store those kind of things, various pipelines have to be set in. So I think those are some things which are there. Apart from the aircraft itself, the technology of the aircraft itself is going to be changed. But there's also been a blended wing technology which is being brought in, where the whole aircraft will be like a like one wing itself. So it looks like a one wing kind of a thing, where the efficiency of the aircraft will be almost 20% higher. The fuel efficiency will be higher. The passenger in-flight experience will be much better, because seatings will be such that there will be much more leg room between the seats. The whole seating can be customized for specific customers, which is there inside the aircraft. Then also electric aircrafts are being worked upon,
Wow.
which will work on the electric propulsion. So all these things, if you see, are towards bringing in more efficiency, reducing the carbon footprint, reducing the utilization of the fuels, and reducing the emissions. So I think, and it all works towards the sustainability of the environment, and also putting lesser burden and conserving the hydrocarbons further. So I think in all, I think the aim is to make the aircraft more efficient by utilizing the sustainable options which are available, and providing a much better experience to the passengers in the air.
Oh, that's phenomenal, and we're really excited to see what else comes out from the industry. It's been a very difficult year. It's a very resilient industry. It has some phenomenal leaders leading the way, and it's also responsible for its hand in trying to save the planet. So these sustainable innovations are the way to go, and we're very excited about them. Thank you so much, Vivek. It's been such an informative and to the point podcast, and it's been amazing to hear an insider from the industry actually talk about it in such a way that a complete outsider can really appreciate and understand the struggle as well as the innovations that are going through. So thank you so much for joining us. I know you're a very busy person, but thanks so much for the time.
Yeah, my pleasure. I think whatever little value I've been able to add to you or to your viewers, I think I'll be happy. I'm not a super expert, but yes, some insights definitely help others. And if my views add value, I'm
Oh,
okay.
that's really nice of you. Thank you so much.